A shout out to Ge.Holla and
Hey, Ge.Holla, G.Holla.
Ge.Holla, Charlamagne the God here, man.
All y'all said entertainer, shout out my guy Ge.Holla.
Rocking right now with Ge.Holla, Celebrity Life.
Shout out to Ge.Holla, reaching 1 million listeners on his podcast.
Let's go.
Mr. Melvin Riley. What's going on with your Esquire? What's happening, man?
Man, I'm glad to be here, enjoying myself as usual. You know what I'm saying? And we always have a good time.
Hey, man, you're always a great guest, man. You're always a smooth, cool brother. You know what I'm talking about?
Appreciate
man, with
you,
the
man.
plan, baby. You know what I'm saying? With
Appreciate
10 toes on the sand. Y'all know you dig it.
That's right. That's right. Last time I talked to you, brother, we was just launching this thing, man, and we deep into it right now. We're about to release the new single called You Complete Me. Sugar Daddy went #1 on a whole bunch of different charts. This time we going after Billboard with You Complete Me. At 28th, and we go to radio 2 weeks after, about 2 weeks from now. So we've just been launching, man, shooting the video, getting everything right, and bringing R&B back to these folks because folks has been waiting for it. And that's where we are. We ready to hit them hard, you know, and I'm just going to keep it real. You know, first we're going to take them bonnets off. First, we're going to take them bonnets off at them stores. And it's okay to wear them at the house. But don't go out to the grocery store and to the clothing store with them bonnets on, my beautiful women. You too beautiful. You don't need bonnets hanging down your back. Okay, I'm going to leave that alone. Anyway, the kind of woman that completes, you know, the kind of woman that completes me, man, is somebody that's 100 with themselves first. Because if she can't be 100 with herself, she can't be 100 with me. You know, and somebody that really is invested in herself as well as myself, because I believe you have to look at a woman, how she takes care of herself. If she takes care of herself, she's going to be able to take care of you and the kids the way that we should be taken care of. And that man needs to reciprocate that, doing what that man is supposed to do in that relationship. And, you know, it's not a complex thing. You know, men, we don't require much. You know, some great food, great sex. We pretty much good. And so if you got a woman that's 100, she's already going to fill all those gaps and complete you, you know, because you, as a man, you're responsible for picking that right woman. And that woman is a representation of you and vice versa. So it's not that complex. Just be 100, be real with yourself, take care of you, and I'm sure you can be able to take care of me as well.
Have the ability to draw people in with your words, and that's very powerful to me.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And I think that's what song is about. Song and poem should be speaking for what everybody else may not particularly be able to say. But as a singer, songwriter, put those words out there where somebody's driving in a car and they can say, I can relate to that, or I feel that. You can't write songs that's outside of where everybody else is, even if it's a fictional thing. Give them something that they can relate to. And, you know, women are the cornerstone of life. They bring us here. So I think it's time that you put down the derogatory statement so much nowadays in music and get back to loving these women like we're supposed to. There you go. There you go. And You Complete Me is that guy. You know, it's about a bachelor guy that has had the women, got the money, got the cars, but he's still empty. And he's doing all that by himself. He has nobody to share it with. And that Complete Me lets you know that, hey, I found somebody that brought me full circle. And now the cars make sense. Now the houses make sense. Now the this, that, and the other, because I got somebody to share it with and somebody to bless with that as well. Man, I go through the house thanking God all day. And that's real talk. You know, it's amazing to be able to create something that can affect the world, you know, with the success I've had with Ready for the World and the success as a solo artist, man, you know, to brothers like yourself that appreciate good music, man, that's powerful, man. That's an honor to be able to create something that makes people move, you know? And, you know, like you say, looking in the rear view and looking forward in the whole nine, I'm amazed. I know God blessed me with this talent. And, you know, I sit down, I create stuff, and I have to sit back sometimes and be like, who is that guy? Because I'll get lost in recording sometimes to where you can't always remember what you did the night before. And I'm sure that goes for a lot of producers and songwriters, because when you in that moment, you create some things, man, that's only God-given talent, man. So I'm blessed, man. I'm very thankful. This new generation, which, you know, I love rap, I love R&B. I mean, but it seems like the new generation is afraid, as far as Black men, to express themselves, and they express it to one another. Like, yeah, man, so and so and so. But a lot of times brothers don't express it to the woman. And it's all goes back to that being hard. And today's generation is too hard. They want to be too hard. And it's not real. You know, you got feelings, obviously, because if you can be upset about something, then you obviously got feelings. But where you direct them feelings is the wrong area. And the young generation just has to, you know, like I said earlier about keeping it 1,000 or keeping it 100, these young guys just got to go ahead and put down all that overly extra hard. You know, when something go boom in the night and you got to go see what it is, then be hard. But you ain't got to be hard 24/7 with your wife or your girl or your kids. You know what I'm saying? It's unnecessary. No doubt. You know, stress, you know, which I learned years ago when I was in college. You know, stress is a damaging effect on the body, whereas we think just because of what we put in our bodies might be more. No, stress alone, you know, your body, the way, like you said, that energy is not flowing correctly. And a lot of times, you know, where you say, well, women, they get it out more, they express themselves more. And men, as us being leaders, we need to express that in the right direction as well. And that's where you say all that bottled up and all that, this, that, and the other. And guess who dies first in a relationship? It's usually the man. You know what I'm saying? Because you walking around and you holding all that in. And that's where brothers like me coming in, because I'm singing for y'all. I'm singing from the man's perspective. So a lot of times at concerts, guys come up to me, man, and they like, man, you have no idea how you inspired me, blah, blah, blah. Well, hey, I like singing from a man's perspective about love. You know, I believe that men have to have what we got to say toward that woman. And if you ever listen to my catalog of music, it's usually that real, you know, perspective from a man.
No, I dig that, man. I appreciate brothers like you, man. You know, it's something about the generation that was before us, man. Y'all just walked in a different light, a different essence, a different energy, a different feel. You know what I mean? Y'all just really led the way. Y'all laid down real seeds of game.
Yeah, man. You listen to Marvin Gaye, you know, you listen to Luther Vandross, Curtis Mayfield, Al Green. Even going back to Otis Redding and all them guys, if you listen, them guys are really preaching. You know, they spitting some real knowledge. Isaac Hayes, Barry White, and all these guys. Well, I grew up listening to a lot of these guys. So I'm not afraid to express myself because them the real OGs. You feel what I'm saying? And then I came after that. So now I'm that OG for the younger generation. So I got to make sure that I handle my business, because they're going to look back in history on what was effective in music, whether it's pop, black, white, or whatever. When you got that platform to be a songwriter or a singer, leave it all on the table. Leave it all on the table.
Hey,
yeah,
man, that's powerful. Speaking of history, because you know, a little bit off subject, but it's on the subject of history, my good brother. I know you have such a vast mind and a vast vocabulary and understanding. I was recently reading about the Freedmen's Bank. It talked about in the 1800s, right after slavery, the government created this bank called the Freedmen's Bank. They put like $57 million in it. And over time, it wasn't even like 20 years, the white folks that worked at the bank, they was embezzling and frauding. And, you know, whatever the equivalency of $57 million is now, which is probably up in the trillions, they stole all the money and bankrupt the Freedmen's Bank. Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't heard about it, but you got to look at who put it in there in the first place. And who created the loopholes for that to happen. You know, make it look good, but at the same point in time, what's leaving out the back door and who's taking it out the back door? And that's one reason why a lot of Black businesses now want to create their own and own it. You know, Tyler Perry creating his own. So, you know, my hat is off to people like Tyler Perry and Spike Lee and a lot of guys that create their own thing. And I think with my new project, even being an independent artist and being with a major, I'm with Universal Music as well through distribution, but I own it and I own it all. So nobody else can go out the back door with it. So we have to be the ones that put it in the bank and control that, because whoever's putting it in there always going to create those loopholes, no matter what that is.
That's true. That's powerful. Thank you for sharing it too. I'm glad that we live in a neighborhood of entrepreneurial independency. You know, we in the community of, you know, being a sole proprietary person.
Yes, sir.
Where you can do that, and that's amazing. What do you think? Do you think they should create, or we come together and create some type of pension fund for like the older artists? Man, I hate to read these stories about the pioneers of this music,
You're a smart man for
they
saying
maybe they went through some stuff and they just down bad right now.
Man, you are smart for saying that. I thought about that back in the 80s because I would hear about artists going broke. And I'm like, you know, this is when I was like 19 and they were talking about all the artists that were going broke and this, that, and the other. And that's because they never taught the business. You know, this is a business, you know, and Black people are some of the most talented human beings on this earth. And I'm not just talking about entertainment. I'm talking about the creation of things. I'm talking about, you know, God has given us a lot of different things, but we have to make sure that, like I said earlier, we got to be
right. And I just learned, I forgot, I'll put their name in it later. There was a car company before Henry Ford, because they really, because I know it's about reading and comprehension, because you got to be able to read it to see where it didn't say that Henry Ford created the car. They just created a plant, which came from George Washington Carver's idea. He created the idea of the name of a manufacturing plant.
Oh, wow.
Because he said he got the idea from nature. And but it was a Black car company that was before his that was really out here shaking and moving. They kind of taught him the game.
Oh, wow. No, now you hipping me on some serious knowledge here, brother. I appreciate that. No, I like, you know, I just love to hear about, you know, what we can do. You know, we love white, we love Black, we love brown. You know, we have a vast array. There's not a lot of hate when it comes to this Black culture. We just want to make sure that we get our fair share. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to make it do what it do. You know, but if you suppress that, then it's kind of impossible or very hard for Black entrepreneurs to really reach out there and get it. You know, so Black has to help Black as well. You know, you go to the bank and you get your big money loans from this, that, and the other. But I do appreciate what Magic Johnson did back during COVID, where they created that Black business, where he was, you know, sharing wealth and getting Black businesses started. It's a lot of creative minds, man. A lot of Black creative minds. Yes.
I found their name too. Sorry, can you? It's the C.R. Patterson and Sons, founded in 1893 by Charles Richardson Patterson, the first Black-owned automobile manufacturer in the United States.
1893?
Yes, sir. 1893.
Amazing. I'm going to write that down.
That's the C.R. Patterson, Patterson, and Sons.
Wow. See? I'm not surprised, though. I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised at all.
Me either, because it's another lady, I think something Green, pardon me forgetting her name, but she's the one that came up with the light theory therapy technology, where if you're suffering from like cancer and different skin ailment and diseases, because the body is made of light, that's what they call atoms, as you know, little balls of light. She was saying how you can pretty much reverse cancer and all type of diseases by using this type of infrared type of light or UV light.
Yeah. Now, is that also, what was his name? What was his name? That died? Excuse me, or they said died, but you know what I'm saying? Nebi, or was it Dr. Nebi?
Oh, Dr. Sebi.
Sebi, was it?
Yes,
okay,
Sebi.
okay, forgive me for that. But yeah, Dr. Sebi had created some things that, you know, they said that's the reason why he passed, you know, because he was on to something. And I'm sure before him, they were on to something as well. Very educational. That's what I'm talking about.
No, you're right. It's Dr. Sebi. Is Lala Africa. He just died. He killed a whole bunch of people in the 80s too, of different ailments and disease. You got your new people like KT Arch Degree. You got Dr. Sebi Children, which I interviewed, the daughter.
Oh, wow.
You also have I don't want to throw so much name, but there's a lot of people that's into the holistic treatment or herb treatment or Western, Eastern, whatever people want to
Yeah.
call it. But even in the Bible it says, "Let the herbs be for the nations," because
That,
God was well intelligent enough to know.
of
Let me
course,
put this
right,
stuff down here for us to combat these diseases that's in these foods and
right.
this air. And then people taking those jabs. I'm not being critical of anyone that had to take it, maybe because of a job or maybe because of fear, but there's something called thuja leaf that you can take, and it actually detox vaccinosis inside of the body.
You deep, bro.
You know?
I like that. I want to add back to getting off the subject a little bit, but going back to what you said about artists, going broke in the beginning, and there need to be a pension fund or something like that. Really, and in the 80s, they should have started it. Coming out of the 70s and going into the 80s when you had all of these artists getting robbed. But when they weren't taught publishing, masters, and this, that, and the other, the management was in cahoots with the record labels. The record labels were in cahoots with the investors. And therefore, basically, they said, just go ahead and sing and make these hits, but we're not going to teach you the business. And that's why you had a lot of artists go broke. Now you've got people like James Brown that learned the business, Sam Cooke that learned the business, he even had his own label before he died. So you had a lot of artists, some Black artists that learned the business early on, but the majority of Black artists didn't learn this business, and therefore they should create a pension. As a matter of fact, there should be someone that comes back right now and does some type of rep for all those artists that lost money or went broke, and give their families that money and update those profiles, of their catalog of music.
No, I'm with you. There's a natural reparations, because when you learn about like the straw man and your social security number, how it was owned by like the Queen of England, and that whole trilateral thing between Washington D.C., London, and the Vatican, how those three entities pretty much been together since the creation and formation of America. And in 1891, when the money stopped being bagged by the gold, they got basically all of our names in some type of trust where they're making money off of it. So they have those reparations. If the system, which we know is corrupt and things of that nature, but if someone was to come along and force that hand of them giving the money that they owe us through our social security number, we would be okay.
It would be a long battle, but it's worth something, for a lot of individuals, man. It's worth going after. It really is. It may take 20, 30, 40 years, but it's worth going after. And you got like the Rothschilds, of course, and different families that, financed the Civil War and different things like that. But it's definitely worth what you're saying, going back and getting reparations. If they can suppress the truth, then you know what I'm saying? But, it's good that people are going and digging for that knowledge like yourself, man. So my hat is off to you.
Hey, you too, my brother. You pretty
Hey,
sharp yourself.
you're going to put me on a path now of going even deeper because, I like the truth and the foundation of things, because I know when we look at things at the top of the cup, that's not what's at the surface. So you definitely want to dig deep to find out that foundation.
In your journey of music and you doing R&B and pop and things of that nature, who was some of your earlier inspirations of people that may have been forgotten by time and era?
That may have been forgotten, man. I tell you, I got a collection right now from my mom and dad. My mom and dad were huge music people. I was born in Clarksdale, Mississippi, where the blues was born. Sam Cooke and a lot of different blues artists. Coming from there. But as far as the forgottens, man, I can look at Nat King Cole. That's not really talked about in today's. Now he's talked about maybe in the white culture more so than Black culture. Nat King Cole, Nancy Wilson. Oh man, I think Sam Cooke has been forgotten. I think he should be brought up more in when you're talking about music. Otis Redding, so those forgottens. But for the people that inspired me coming up the most, that's not really forgotten, are the George Clintons, the Princes, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson. Those are my big four that have not been forgotten, which I'm glad they're not. They tried to forget about George in the 80s a little bit, but thank God, you know, promotions brought George Clinton to the forefront to let people know. And I think Dr. Dre is to credit a lot for bringing George Clinton back out there, even though a lot of groups did, like De La Soul and who was that? Roger and Zapp showed George Clinton's love back out there. But I think Dr. Dre really put George Clinton back out there for the new and young generation to know who George Clinton is.
That's cool. I like that, man. Thank you for. They said, and it's an African proverb. It says, "To speak an ancestor's name is to give them life and live again." So through you, they also live again. We appreciate you, brother.
It would be a shame, you know, for people to pass on and people like Nancy Wilson or Nat King Cole or these type of people, names not be brought back up because they're so influential in Black music. When you say Black History Month, you definitely should they have to dig deep on major networks to bring these people to the forefront because they deserve it, because what you're hearing today is influenced by all those ancestors, all those greats.
Even rap, like I've listened to some stuff they was showing. I was looking on YouTube. They was doing like the bebop, I'm like, they rapping like they was doing this 20s and 30s, you know?
Isn't that crazy? I listen to some old stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, they were doing that back in the 40s and in the 50s and the 30s. And you listen, and you're like, okay, there's nothing new under the sun, as the Bible says, nothing new under the sun. And every artist is inspired, no matter what they say, something inspired that artist. Somebody, or they heard something that inspired their talent. Now they just take it to the next level. I remember when Guy was getting signed, and Gerald Busby sent me Guy's demo. And he said, man, what do you think about this group? Should I sign him? I said, yeah, you should sign Guy. You know, and Teddy and I haven't even talked about this before, but I've got their demo, and Bill's, goodness, Gerald Busby sent me the music. And I'm saying, wait a minute, this guy sounds like Charlie Wilson, which was Aaron Hall. So Aaron Hall, I said, he sounds like Charlie Wilson. Then when you listen to Charlie Wilson, then you got to listen to Stevie Wonder. And Stevie Wonder sounds like Donny Hathaway. So we all are influenced by one another. Yeah, if you ever take a listen to some of these guys, then you'll listen to them, you'll be like, oh, wait a minute, that sounds like so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. But you always have your own originality. Even though you're influenced by somebody else, you still have your own thing that God gave you to take it to that next level.
That's right. You're right. That's true. That's really true.
Yeah.
You know, you just tied something into me. I didn't realize you said it. Do you have any cousins in the industry? Because I know it's Teddy Riley. You said you were just talking to him. And I was like, oh, that might be his cousin. Let me ask.
Right. No, a lot of people ask.
Brandy and Snoop was cousins.
Okay. I didn't know that. But no, Teddy and I are not cousins, but we just joke about it a lot of times. You know, when we're together, we say, what up, cuz? What up, cuz? Unless maybe we need to go deeper in our roots, because you just never know. You never know.
That'd be all right, man. Y'all can start a group together, you know?
Hey, Teddy's a bad boy, man. I love the guy. He's a
hey, you too, man. Y'all together. Hey. Ooh, wait.
I appreciate that.
I see all the aunties lining up. They all
you see the aunties lining up. No doubt.
Mr. Riley, it's kind of off topic, but it's on topic, because you're such a man of broad knowledge. What's one so-called, I'm going to use the conspiracy, I'm doing the air quotes, but what is one theory that you know has to be true, but it's real crazy? What's something that you learned in your life when you looked at, you've been studying, you've been researching, that you could tell us right now?
Ooh, I can't tell you that one. That's what's true that I know for a fact. The one conspiracy is, I hope I don't sound crazy. No, I won't even say that one, but just I know that one conspiracy, it's on my head. Let's just say, I think when God created man, he also created others on this earth. That's a conspiracy. that I know for a fact that yes. I can't even elaborate on that because they'd be like, "Oh, Melvin is crazy."
No,
But
wait,
but no,
Miss
God,
Johnny,
I believe God. The one conspiracy that I think that is one that I know for a fact that we are definitely not the only thing moving as far as human beings.
I'm going to agree with you, and I don't care if people think I'm crazy or not. You know, the world is not what we think that it is, because you know on the maps they lying, because you know you could put every continent or country or piece of land mass for the people to get confused inside of Africa. That's how really big it is.
Oh
So they're
yeah,
not telling the truth about that, and like
I studied
they're not
that. Yeah.
they're not telling the truth about what Antarctica is either. Because why did all the countries, now these countries have been fighting, they broke every treaty imaginable. Why are you all not fighting over the Arctic? The Arctic is the most military strategic place to be.
But
They
they're
have
fighting over
signed a
Africa. But they want
world treaty.
right. But they want Africa. The continent of Africa has so much, and I studied that I think last winter about Africa and what it has, you know, and oh my goodness, I would have to go back and know the exact place because Africa is a continent, but Africa has everything. Everything. Yeah.
And then, you know, the landmass was all one at one point, what they call Pangea. So really all of this is Africa, if you want to just use a title for a word. I know there's ancient words like Tiamat and Gaia and Gaia and all these different things, but if
Mhm.
all of it was like this together, that means we was everywhere at the
Oh yeah,
same time. You know what I'm saying? That's why you
definitely.
find pyramids over here, you find
Oh, yeah,
pyramids over there, you find
definitely.
mounds over here.
Yeah. Ways away, but you still have the same, you know what I'm saying? And they didn't have airplanes back then, but yet you see the pyramids over here and the pyramids over there, same exact. So you're exactly right. Yeah. So that would be one conspiracy that I would definitely, yeah. And this is the first interview I've ever had where I've ever talked about something like that. But since you brought it up, yes,
And it
indeed.
may open somebody else's mind to make them think. Because, you know, if you think about us ourselves, look at the term they give us, human being.
Being,
We
a
always see the
being,
human part, but no one ever asks, what is the being
being.
part?
There you go. There
What
you
is that consisted of? And then if you have a religion and you say you have a God, and God would, or an angel, or alien, angel, alien, would be something that's not from
from
here.
here. Right.
Can't you categorize that as an alien?
Oh man, we could have a whole series on that. Yeah. And a lot of people don't really delve into it, even though they have questions in the back of their minds. And then there are some of us who have seen for themselves the reality of that as well.
Because in the South they say born with the veil, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
There's some people that actually see these things. How can we say that someone is crazy because you can see something or experience something that I haven't?
Correct.
Isn't it all happening in the mind?
Correct. Correct. You know, my father taught me about that when I was a boy. He said he was born with a veil. And I didn't know. I'm like, what is a veil? And it's very interesting. And I have never studied deeply that veil, but I do remember him telling me that he was born with that. And I'm like, oh, wow. Well, I guess you passed that on to me. Because I did not ask for it, believe me. I did not ask for that one. But
You
yes,
definitely have the light, brother. We can see it in you. And you know what? It's been amazing. I don't know if they still have that show. Did you ever see that show, the Celebrity Ghost Stories, where like
I did.
yeah,
Jermaine Jackson was in it. I did
John
see,
Sally.
yeah, the stuff that they've seen. I did watch that. Yeah, it's been a few years since I've watched that, but yeah. And I was looking at them like, I don't know, bruh. You know, y'all wasn't doing. You know, I'm like, I can't. It's hard to believe until something happens to you. Then you're like, oh my gosh, okay. So like you said, you know, it's in the mind, and what we see, maybe you haven't seen. So you can't say Jermaine Jackson is crazy or Blow is crazy just because you haven't experienced it, you know. but it's definitely other things that we don't understand out here. That's as deep as I can go with that. They ain't gonna have me on no blog or no. Melvin Riley has been. No, I'm not gonna. No. That's as deep as I can go with that one.
No, I understand. I understand. Stay in the doorway. Stay in the doorway. I understand.
Right. You know what? Go to IamMelvinRiley.com and it will show, upcoming shows, videos, or go to my Facebook page, which is just Melvin Riley. I did have an imposter that, actually I got a lot of imposters, but the Facebook with my hat on and the vest, that's the real me. And and then Instagram is I am Melvin Riley on Instagram as well. So if you want to know what's going on with Melvin Riley and Ready for the World, yeah, come and check me out, and I appreciate, man, these fans have been rolling with me, man, for over 30 some years, man. I just want to give a shout out and say thank y'all for, rocking with me. And I thank God that I still got the vocals, the talent, the writing skills, all of that. And I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep on banging out, man, until I'm ready to go ahead and just sit back and sit by the pond and just chill.
All right, brother. We appreciate you, man. Maybe skip some rocks across the water. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed. But I got to put that pole in there first and get my bass out of there.
I understand. I already know.
Yes.
The risk ain't proper.
Oh, man. Yes. Indeed.
Man, brother, it's always an honor kicking in with you, talking with you, building with you, man. You're such a great man of wisdom and destiny and music. And
you all look out for the launch of the new Melvin Riley, and the name of the album as of right now is called In Case You No, I won't even put it out there yet because somebody might bite me. So I'm gonna wait. Next thing, I've been bit so much in this industry, bro, so I gotta keep things to myself. But I will say that the project is coming, is swinging. The new single will be out June 28th, 2024. And we're going to radio 2 weeks after that. So expect to hear the new single, You Complete Me, everywhere. All right, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Melvin Riley. And I'm on My Celebrity Life with Ge.Holla. And we always keep it 1,000 on here. And we'll see y'all next time. So let's get it and let's go.